Alright, everybody. Welcome to this morning's Writers at Work TikTok lesson. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work, and this morning we'll be looking at Pei Chun Presbyterian Primary School Primary 6 paper from 2023. We're going to take a look at their prelim exams and take a look at the tips and tricks, and hopefully you can get some tips and tricks on how to do well in your English. Yes, good morning, Pei Chun. Good to see you again. Okay, let's take a look at our grammar. Hello, Gabriel 3071. Okay, question 1. Wan, Lee, and Dash brought our new pet dog out for a walk. So for this question here, we are interested in pronouns. Let's take a look at some keywords. Wan, Lee, and Dash. And you can see that these two subjects, they had a verb attached to it. That means they are the subject of the sentence. Okay. Yes, very good. Who is it? Hello, Felix Yong Bokili, and are you from Nanning? Yeah, the answer is 1. Yeah, very good. Pei Chun. Yes, the answer is number 1. Why? Because I here is a subject personal pronoun. This means that you'll replace the subject of the sentence. Okay. Now, looking at the other options, me here is the object personal pronoun. That means it replaces the object of the sentence. Okay, myself here is an intensive pronoun, which is used to emphasize. Okay, to emphasize the particular noun or pronoun. Lastly, him is also an object personal pronoun. So we are interested in replacing some male subject, male object of the sentence with him. Hello, sad hamster. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question number 2. Dash her small frame. She could rearrange the heavy sofa on her own. So we are interested in conjunction here. Conjunctions are your linking words. The key words we observe is small frame, but you could see some heavy sofa. So there's some sort of contrast here. If somebody is very petite or very small, you expect the person to be do not have the strength to move like heavy furniture. But this isn't the case here. Okay. Are you from Nanning? Pei Chun says number 3. Yes, very good. For this question here, we will use number 3 because despite is used to link information that are contrasting. Next, for despite is usually followed by a noun. And we use it to show the expectation versus reality. Okay. As such, we would use this in question 2. Now, if we observe closely, though and however are also used to show contrast. Okay, but number 2, though, is usually followed by a subject and a verb. For example, though she tried very hard, she could not pass the examination. So there is this verb there, which is you are trying, and there is a subject, which is though she tried very hard, the girl. However, is also used to show contrast, and usually it has got to do with contradiction, to show some contradictions in the situation. the police tried very hard to catch the thief. However, the thief managed to escape. And see, there is that kind of contradiction there. Lastly, unlike here is used as a preposition. So it basically means that we are looking at a relationship between different objects. Okay, and we use unlike as a preposition to show how the object is different from something else. Okay. Okay, give me a moment. All right, moving on, let's take a look at question 3. Currently, police dash no closer to catching the thieves even with video evidence. So we're interested in a subject-verb agreement question here. First thing to note, police. Second thing to note, currently. Currently tells me it is in the present tense. And the police here is a collective noun. As such, we will consider a singular, we consider it a singular subject. So with these two clues, we can easily derive our answer as number 1, is. Just take note, this idea of collective noun. If let's say I change this sentence to currently, the 3 policemen are no, then it will be are no closer. Okay? Yeah, very good. Pui pei are. Okay, give me a, let's take a short break first. All right. Come, sorry for the interruption. Come, let's take a look at question 4 now. The waiter, dash my father praised, had only begun work a week prior. So over here, we are interested in relative pronouns again. And we are interested in this keyword waiter. And also here, father praised. So we are interested in these keywords because they tell us who is the subject and who is the object of the sentence. So if you observe closely here, father praised. So this verb is attached to my subject of the sentence, while the waiter is the object. We call it the object of the sentence because the waiter is the recipient of the father's action, which is the recipients of father's praise. So when we use this relative pronoun, we are looking at how the waiter can be replaced with an object relative pronoun. So in this case, the answer will be whom, because it fulfills this criteria as an object relative pronoun. Now, if we look at the other options, who here is known as a subject relative pronoun. So we are interested in using this word to replace the subject of the sentence. Whoever and whomever, these two, they do not have a specific subject they are referring to. All right. As such, we will not consider them to begin with because over here we are looking at this very specific person, which is the waiter. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at question 5. Dash you need any help, I will always be a phone call away. So we are interested in something known as a modal auxiliary verb. Oops. Auxiliary verb. Okay, so this means that we are interested in certain words that would link the different subjects in the sentence together. And we observe that we are looking at if you need any help. It's something that is very serious and there is that need for something. Okay, so looking at the options, the first one is what is it? Must. Must shows an obligation. I must visit the dentist today to pull out my decayed teeth, and must, you need to do it. Will implies a habit. I will visit grandmother every Sunday. Should, could is used to make a request or an offer. Could you please clean the dishes? Okay. And lastly, should tells me that there is a need to do something. So in this case, if you need help, you need assistance to do something, then you will be using number 4. Yes, very good. Pui pei a, that's the answer. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 6. When Devi received her new camera, she excitedly took many photographs, dash random. So over here, we are looking at prepositions. Prepositions give us information about a particular subject and its position and etc. So for question 6 here, we are interested in how she does something at random. Random is this specific time period. Okay. And looking at our options, there's only one option, which is option 3 here, that actually conveys this idea of a time period. Okay, at here implies a specific period of time, or it can also be used to show a particular location. Okay, so in other words, you can say mother is at the coffee shop because it shows a particular location and it's also a secondary use for the word at. Now looking at the other options, the first one is to. To shows a destination. I am going to the zoo, for example. Second, by shows a source. The pizza was baked by brother. So I'm telling you who is the originator or the person who made something. Of shows the relationship between two subjects. He is the brother of John. Okay? I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information for these first 6 questions before we move on to our next section. All right. If there are no further questions, let's take a look at question 7 now. Mother dashed the wet shirt out and hung it up to dry yesterday. So over here, we're interested in tenses. Okay, and the keyword that we need to look at is hung. Hung here is in the past tense. We also have the word yesterday, which tells me it is in the past. Now, we understand that the blank is a verb. This is verb number 1, and there is verb number 2, which is hung. So the idea is to understand which of the verb happened first. Okay? And it makes sense that the blank here happened first because wrung means that you're trying to squeeze the water out of the clothes. Then you leave it out to dry in the sun. So looking at our options, the first one is ring. Ring is present tense, and it's also in the plural form. So we will not consider this because the whole sentence is in past tense. Next, wrung. This is past tense. Yes, we are looking at past tense for the sentence, but this is not the correct answer because we are looking at 2 activities that occurred in the past, one after the other. Okay, they don't happen at the same time. So we have 2 more, has rung and had rung. Has rung here is in the present perfect tense, which means that present perfect means the action is completed, but the effect is being felt. Okay, so and lastly we have had rung. Had rung here is in the past perfect form. This means that one action was completed before second action took place. Okay, now I just like to make a correction. I just observed that I just realized I missed out one more keyword here, and. Okay, so when you have this and here, it means that mother did these 2 actions one after the other, and there isn't that, it's still one after the other, but there isn't that long time lapse that one action has been completed before the second action took place. As such, we will consider the answer as number 2, rung. Okay, unless we change it to before mother hung the clothes, she had to rung it first. Then we can actually use the past perfect tense here. Okay, else it should not be considered. And lastly, for has rung, or when we want to demonstrate that the effect is still being felt after the action is completed, there needs to be contextual clues. Let me give you an example. I have read the news and want to know more. So have read here demonstrates that my action of looking at the newspaper is completed. But my curiosity is still there. Therefore, I still have this desire to know more. Okay? Okay, come. Let's look at the question 9 now. Sorry, question 8. He'd be annoyed that you had misplaced his favorite book, dash. So over here, we are looking at a question tag kind of question. And we are interested in this keyword here, he'd. So this can either mean he had or he would. Okay, and we observe that there are two different actions, annoyed and misplaced and had misplaced. So had misplaced here tells me that it's in the past perfect tense. So this means that action 1 is the person misplacing the book. Action 2 is the person being annoyed. So over here we are looking at the past tense. Alright. So for past tense, we will not consider anything that is had, because that is already, this shows the past perfect tense. So we will not consider number 2. Okay, and when we look at he, we are really very clear that it's either he had or he would. So we need to ask ourselves, had is already out. So we only have would left. And if he would be annoyed is in the positive connotation, we need a negative connotation at the back, which would be he, wouldn't he, right? And therefore our answer here will be number 4. Now moving on to question 9. Have you seen Dash of Kenneth lately? He seems very busy. So over here we're interested in determiners. Determiners are used to show the quantity of the subject. So we are interested in Kenneth, and you want to see, it's essentially they are looking at the appearance of Kenneth. So looking at our options, we have much, which is uncountable, many, which is countable, number 3, some, which is countable, and little, which is uncountable. Okay, and we are interested in Kenneth appearance, or how the number of times, or rather it's more of how often you see him. So we will say, have you seen much of Kenneth? Because you can't measure his appearance per se. Okay, only when the question specifically say the number of times or the frequency of Kenneth's appearance, then you can use many, or maybe Kenneth appeared many times today. Okay, for example, then that's where you can use a countable determiner here. If not, when it's very vague like this, then we need to assume it's just appearance and it's uncountable. So the answer is number 1. Now looking at question 10 now. Hardly had Bala left the house, Dash it started raining. So we are looking at some conjunctions here, which are your linking words. And we observe there's a had here, which tells me it's in the participle tense, participle form. And we're interested in this part here, raining, which is a particular time period or event. Now looking at the activity, the options. The first one is as. As shows something is concurrent. As mother was cooking, brother did his homework. Then shows sequential activities. I wash the clothes, then put it in the dryer. Then with a shows a comparison. I am taller than brother. When here shows a period of time. So we are saying when it rains at this particular instance, then a particular event, which is the raining, occurred. Okay, so for here, our answer will be number 4. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information for these 3 questions before we look at the next part. All right. Hello, who is this? Oh yeah, it's Shirlene again. Hello, Shirlene. Yeah, it's great to see our familiar friends again on TikTok. Okay, let's take a look at the vocab section now. Okay, looking at question 11. Lionel dash research on planets to deepen his interest in the solar system. So the keyword here is interest. That means someone is very passionate, is very enthusiastic to find out more about a particular subject. So looking at our options, the first one is avidly. Avidly here means that you have a great interest or enthusiasm in a subject. Next, decisively means you make decision quickly and effectively. Recklessly means without regard for danger. While indifferently means without an interest in something. So because we have someone who has interest, the closest option that we have is number 1, avidly. Okay. Now moving on, question 12. The concerns of parents have for their children's health usually dash all other concerns. So over here, we are looking at how this concern for their children's health is more important than all the other concerns. So taking a look at our options, the first one is overrun. That means the time or the cost is above the intended limit. So we can say that the Tokyo Olympics overrun its cost. Next one is oversee, which means that you watch somebody do the job to make sure that it's being done correctly. So maybe the foreman was overwatching his fellow construction workers doing their job, is to make sure that they can complete their job safely. Next, thirdly, we have overtake. Overtake here means that you catch up and pass somebody. So we usually use this for competition. For example, the race car driver overtook his competitors. Or it could also be how, in terms of someone studying, he overtook his competitors in terms of the exam results. Lastly, we have override. Override here means something is more important than others. Okay. As such, we are looking at how the children's health is more important than other things. So to exemplify this fact, we will always use override in this case. Now looking at question 13. Since we have a short time for lunch, shall we go to the restaurant in the dash? Jeanette suggested. So we are interested in over here in, okay, we will use the word in, which tells me that the location is very near. Because if we say in the neighborhood, that means is somewhere very close within the boundaries of, let's say, Ang Mo Kio or Bedok. Okay. Hello, music lover. Hello, Karen 3682. Okay, so looking at our options here, the first one is sector. Sector is an area that is distinct from others. Okay, these are very urban centric terms that we don't usually see on a daily basis. Second is region. Region is like part of a country or world. So let's say we say the Southeast Asian region. So we are looking at the different countries and their borders within a particular area. Vicinity means a nearby place, while territory means area under jurisdiction. So the option 2 and option 4 are usually used for more formal meetings and international relation things. So we are looking at how territory is like a place where like the government can rule and have authority over the things there. Okay, so in this case we are looking at just the location of a restaurant being convenient, so we'll just say in the vicinity. Okay, now looking at question 14, there are many dash guests that are well respected for their efforts in environmental conservation present. So the keyword that we need to remember is well respected. That means people look up to them, they think that they have done something very good, very outstanding in their respective fields. Okay, so looking at the option, the first one is elegant here. Elegant means that you are graceful in style or manner. So it's like when you dress nicely and you walk in a particular way, you sashay, then probably it shows that you are very elegant. Excellent means somebody is very good or outstanding. The third one, esteem, means that you have great respect or you admire someone. Lastly, extraordinary means something is very unusual or strange. So in this case, when you have a great respect for someone, or you like somebody very much and you admire what he do, the closest option we have is number 3, esteem. Now looking at question 15, the group was quick to dash with a solution to tackle the problem. First one is come up. Come out, that means you generate something, generate idea, or it also can mean that you talk about in conversation. Next one, come down. Come down means you fall or you become lower. So the crane operator came down from his crane tower. That means he's climbing down the ladder from a very high position to the first level 1. Next is come out. That means you achieve something at the end of the activity. Lastly, come away means you are separated from another object. Okay, so in this case, you can see that they are interested in solutions. That means they are trying to come up. They are trying to generate or produce some ideas. So in this case, our answer will be number 1. You come up with the idea. Okay. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our next section. Alright, let's take a look at our vocabulary close now. So what will happen is I'll read through this text with you and I'll explain the meanings of the underlined words. Once we have a clearer understanding, We'll take a look at the options and choose the correct answer. Forests are magnificent nature wonders. These vast areas are filled with a large varieties of trees, plants, and animals, housing countless species. So vast here means something is of a great extent. So it's like a very, very big area. Moving on, forests help to maintain a stable climate, regulate water cycle, and provide a habitat for wildlife. Forests also provide a great deal of benefits. So over here, a great deal means a large amount or quantity of something. Known as the lungs of the earth, forests provide clean and fresh air and help to mitigate the issues that arise from climate change. Mitigate means that you make something less severe or serious. Forests also supply resources such as medicine and food and support the livelihood of people. Livelihood here refers to the way people earn money to pay for necessities. With all these benefits, it is no wonder that we are called to protect and preserve this invaluable ecosystem. Invaluable here means something is extremely useful and you cannot live without it. Alright, okay, with an understanding of the words that are underlined, let's move on to our options. So question 16 tests you on the word vast, which means an area that is extremely big. Okay, but you still can count the area. You can say that how many square kilometers the area is. So looking at the first option, infinite. Infinite means limitless or impossible to count. Limitless or impossible to count. Which doesn't make sense because when you have a vast area, though it's very big, you still can count. Second, massive. Massive means something is exceptionally large. It's so big that the number will probably shock you, but you still can count it. Thirdly, we are restricted, which means that something is limited in number or quantity. Lastly, established basically means that something is done or exists for a very long time. So for our question here, when we look at a vast, you can see area, we're just interested to tell people that the habitat is very big. So in that case, the closest option that we have will be number 2, the massive area. Moving on, question 17 tests you on the word a great deal of something. And this great deal basically means that it's a large amount of benefits. So looking at our options here, question 17, option 1, any. Any means you are just referring to things. The quantity doesn't matter. So it's not really useful or doesn't really apply to us because the benefits that we have, they can be counted, how many benefits, things like that. Next one is few. Few means only a small number, but great deal means a large number. Many here means that you are looking at a large quantity of something, which is what we are interested in. Lastly, enough. Enough means just the correct number. So it doesn't show is it large quantity, small quantity. I may need very few benefits to survive as an animal, for example. So it doesn't equal to large quantity when we use enough. Okay. As such, the closest option that we have here is number 3, which is many. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Gabriel. Now let's take a look at question 18 now. When we want to mitigate something, it means that we want to make some negative impact or effect less severe. All right. So looking at our options here, first one is avoid. Avoid means that you want to stop oneself from doing something. So for avoid, it could mean that you do something that has negative effects less frequently. Let's say I avoid smoking. It doesn't mean that I totally stop this bad habit, but I just reduce the frequency. And this isn't the same as mitigate, which means that you want to make something that is bad very you want to make something that is bad less bad. All right. Reduce here means that you make something lesser in size or extent. So for reduce here is usually talking about the consequences or the effect of something. Next one is shorten. Shorten, that means you decrease the length. You want to shorten the length of the table. You want to shorten for example, the length of the table. You just just use the saw to saw it, right? Decrease means the quantity is lower. The decrease in the amount of petrol in the car, for example. All right. So as such, for question 18 here, we're interested in option number 2, because when you want to mitigate or reduce something, we are always interested in the outcome, the consequence, and the only option that has this meaning or this link to the consequence is reduce. Now moving on, let's take a look at question 19. Livelihoods. Livelihood is basically like a job, something that you do so that you can earn money and buy your basic necessities for survival. So looking at options here, first one is duties. Duties referring to some obligation. For example, your parents have a duty to protect you. So it's not a job. Pursuit here is basically something that you do during your free time. So it also doesn't refer to your job. Hobbies is basically something you do during your free time. These are pursuit and hobby, they are quite similar. Lastly, we have occupation, which is basically your job or your profession. And this is what we are looking for, because a job pays you money. And you can use this money to buy food, house, and survive. All right. Lastly, we have question 20, invaluable, which means something is extremely useful, something is very necessary for you. So looking at our options here, the first one is priceless. Priceless means that it's so precious, you can't give a value to the thing, right? For example, you can say the memories are priceless. So you can't like say that my experience in a particular country is how much, because it's just the experience is just too valuable, and you keep it very dearly to your heart. Next, worthless here means something is no use or no value. For example, if your notes are torn, right, your currency, your notes, the money is torn or there's a cut, it's worthless, it's no value. Relentless here means you continue in a determined way. That means you are very resolute in achieving something. Lastly, meaningless here something has no value. Okay, so meaningless and worthless, they are quite similar, but the use is slightly different. Meaningless, the kind of value here we are looking at is not the monetary value, but the kind of social emotional benefits. For example, it's meaningless to say sorry but still do the wrong thing, right? So we are not looking at like money and per se, but in terms of value in other aspects of life. Alright, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our section B. If anybody has questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at section B now. If you want to exercise your body, head to the gym. If you want to exercise your brain, listen to music. There are dash things that stimulate your brain the way music does. So over here, we're looking at the different things that can stimulate your brain. Stimulate your brain, that means make your brain active, make your brain work. And they are saying that music is one of the few ways that it can activate your brain very well. Right, so we want to show that the quantity here is very low. So we will say there are 29, there are few things, okay? Because the things here, like your activities, can be counted, it's countable. Listening to or playing music, that's a great way to keep your brain engaged. So this is a fact. And when we have facts, it's always in the present tense. So it will be is a good way. Okay. We'll use is here because it's just the particular act of listening to music. This act, so one action, singular. It provides dash total brain workout. So we're looking at how just one session of listening to music is a workout. So one workout also. So you'll say is a total brain workout. Research has shown that listening to music can reduce anxiety and improve your sleep quality. So for question 32 here, we are interested in how this research is already completed, but the effect is still felt. What is this effect? The effect of the research, people are still using it, are still influenced by it. So we'll say it has shown. So we are looking at the present perfect continuous here. Now moving on, sorry, not present, it's present perfect tense, okay? So has when the participle. Okay, come, let's look at question 35, 33 now. Experts are trying to understand how our brains can hear and play music. A sound system puts out vibrations that travel through the air and go into the ear canal. So we are interested in the subject, which is vibrations. This is a non-human, and we're looking at a pronoun to replace this. So the answer will be which travel through the air going to the ear canal. Dash vibrations form an electrical signal that travels dash the auditory nerve to the brain. So we are looking at vibrations. This is plural, and we are referring to the same topic all this while. So we will say these vibrations. And you can see that the auditory nerve is like your intermediary. So that means from the air, your point A, to your point B, which is your brain, the auditory nerve in the brain. This middle part here is the nerve. So we are looking at this particular direction and position which the sound is traveling. So we'll say it travels through the auditory nerve. Okay. So for question 35, answer will be M. Where is re-example into something we perceive as music. Researchers have had dozens of jazz performers and rappers improvised music dash lying down inside a machine to watch and see which areas of their brains light up. So you can see, when you want to improvise music, we are interested in the method. So we are looking at a preposition to show that kind of method. And it is, well, and you can see that over here, they are lying down and they want to see which part of the brain lights up. So there are two concurrent activities ongoing. So to highlight this simultaneous action, we will use the word wow, which is Q. It dash found that multiple areas in the left and right brain lit up during the improvisation process. So we are interested in this action that happened already. Found, lit. All these are in past tense. So we'll say it was found. So and. Alright. You may not be aware of it, but your brain has to do a lot of work to make sense dash the music that you hear. So when they make sense, we need to find the relationship. What are they trying to make sense? What was that subject? What's that thing? Okay, and they tell you it's the music. So to show this relationship, to connect them together, we'll say you are trying to make sense of the music. Okay, and with that, this is our grammar close. So I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information. If anybody has questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section and we'll answer them accordingly. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at this is editing. Okay, Bethany Hamilton is a well-known surfer. However, her popularity is not based on her many accomplishments. Okay, over here we're interested in the accomplishment, which is a noun. Okay, but now the word that they give you is a verb, accomplishes. So we need to convert the word form to a noun. And this is how you spell it. Instead, it is based on her inspiring story of returning to the sport, dash losing her arm in a shark attack. So this event occurred first. Okay, so this is event 1. And the second event is returning to the sport. So in order to link them together, we will use the word after losing her arm in a shark attack. Okay, so on October 31st, 2003, 13-year-old Bethany Hamilton gone. Okay, so we are not interested in a participle form here. The participle form is only used when I have two actions in the past. But for this sentence, I only have one action, which is the surfer going to surf in the morning. So I will instead use the past tense here. Okay. Oops, sorry, give me 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So instead of gone, she went surfing for morning surf. And you can see, while dash on a surfboard, a huge shark attacked her. So you can tell that this action occurred. The attack occurred while this first action was ongoing. So instead of saying lie, we will use the continuous form to show that there were two actions and one was ongoing when the second one occurred. So it will be when lying on her surfboard, a huge shark attacked her. The shark dashed off her left arm and she lost a lot of blood. So over here, this is also needed to be in the past tense. Shoot sharp attacked. This is past tense. Where else? And here already is a giveaway because it is clearly something that occurred a very long time ago. So instead of bite, we will say the shark bit, B-I-T, bit off the left arm. Okay, next one. Immediately is spelled wrongly. Bethany was rushed to hospital where a doctor on duty raced to her rescue. This is also quite a straightforward spelling error, so I expect everyone to get it correct. Despite losing her arm eventually, Bethany Hamilton returned to surfing. Throughout her career, she competed in various surfing competitions. This is a spelling error as well. And came in first for many of them. Bethany Hamilton's incredible. So this is how it's called, incredible. Story teaches us how we can overcome some of the hardest challenges with zest and dash. So determine here is a verb, is an action. But what we are looking at is this value, this character trait of determination. So over here, they are testing you to convert again the verb to a noun. Okay, so Bethany never lose hope and pursued her dreams. This is a spelling error. If you are passionate about something, you should find a way to make it happen. With constant hard work and dedication, we can achieve anything. Do not give up. So achieve here is also another spelling error. Just take note of the correct spelling, please. And yes, we've come to the end of our editing section. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information first before we look at the next section. All right. All right, let's take a look at what's next. Yes, our compre close. So the text reads, do you like taking aim at something and throwing an object at it to knock it down? If so, bowling is a sport that you might be interested dash. So we are looking at this word. You are interested, and thereafter they ask you this. Interested is a verb. So when you have this verb already and there's this blank, you will most likely think that of this blank as a prepositions. They are interested, and what's this interest link to bowling? So yeah, you need to ask yourself, how is it linked? Well, one way to see it is that you are interested and you want to find out more about bowling. So you will say you are interested in bowling. Instead of taking a random shot, it requires specific techniques to hurl a ball towards 10 pins with the dash of knocking them all down. So over here, this thing is like a particular objective. So it's like your goal like that, right? So you can say with the aim, or you can say with the goal of knocking all of them down. There are several variations of the game of bowling, but the dash common form is 10-pin bowling. Hence today, dash refers to 10-pin bowling. So you can see over here, we are looking at this common. And you can see the here. So over here, this tells me it's some kind of comparison. Okay, and this comparison is the superlative form. So we will say the most common. Okay. And for question 54 here, we are looking at how when you talk about bowling, people would just immediately think of 10-pin bowling. While it is not the theory, or there is nothing to say, bowling equals 10-pin bowling, because there are more than one form of bowling to begin with. But we are just trying to tell people that this is something is so common, and there's a very high probability that people will think of 10-pin bowling as the normal bowling. So we'll say usually, okay, to highlight this probability. In 10-pin bowling, there are 10 pins which are dashed in a triangle formation. So you can see when you want to make this happen, you need to put the pins properly, right? So you can say which are placed in a formation, or you can say arranged in a triangular formation at the end of a long wooden lane. The bowler has to dash roll a heavy ball down the lane in order to knock down all 10 pins within 2 maximum tries, also known as a frame. So we are looking at how the bowler needs to apply certain techniques to do this. So there is some kind of limitation here. So in order to achieve your aim, which is to knock down all 10 pins, but there's some kind of limitation, we would say that they need to have skill. So in this case, it will be the bowler needs to skillfully roll a heavy ball down the wooden lane. Okay, moving on. In each game, there are 10 frames. The dash score is calculated based on the number of pins the bowler managed to knock down after all his or her dash in the 10th frame. So we are looking at the score, right? And we can see that it's based on the number of pins. All, okay, this is the keyword. All already tells you is related to the total score. Or you can say it's the final score. There needs to be the idea that you are adding all the different frames together in order to get this bigger number. All right. And you can see that the bowler has during the 10 frames, they are able to roll the ball. So this act of rolling is either, you can call it the number of tries, the number of attempts, okay? Bowlers can also earn dash points if they're able to knock down all 10 pins within a frame consecutively. So you can see, the text already tells you that they need to knock down within maximum of 2 tries. But now you are looking at this special case here. And it would occur to you that if you're able to use one ball to knock down all 10 pins over and over again, is some kind of special skill there. So we'll say that they'll be able to earn extra or additional points. Okay, because this is a special case and it's good because it shows skill. All right, moving on. Dash rolling a bowling ball down the lane to hit a few pins might sound pretty dash. It requires a great amount of skill to consistently knock down all the pins. So you can see, we are looking at 2 different train of thoughts here. The first one is you think that rolling a ball down the lane may be very straightforward, may be very easy, right? But you can see that it requires a great amount of skill. So we are looking at these 2 concurrent train of thoughts. And to link them together when they are similar ideas, we'll use the word wow. This is a conjunction or a linking word. Okay, And you can see that the second part here, it requires a great amount of skill, even though most people may think you just roll a ball down is very, you can say pretty easy, pretty straightforward. There are two dash or shots in bowling, the straight ball and a hook ball. So they're categorizing. Okay, so in order to show the category, we'll say there are two types of shots in bowling. A straight ball is the most dash shot and what most beginning bowlers start with. So you can see the word beginning already tells you it must be quite simple. That's why the new players can apply this trick already. Okay, so you can say it's the most basic shot. A hook ball travels in a curve and attacks the pin dash the sides. So the sides here is your source of the attack. So the preposition that we need for question 64 is you attack from the sides. Alright. Lastly, question 65. Do all these descriptions make you want to try it dash for yourself? So when you want to try something, the phrasal verb is you try it out. That means you are trying to experiment with bowling. Okay. So with that, we have come to the end of our what's this? Complete close here. Okay. I just give everyone some time to take in the information I shared before we look at the final section, synthesis and transformation. All right, let's take a look at our synthesis and transformation now. All right, question 67. Chong Li wants to complete his project. He is not interested to watch the movie. So first thing, when I observe the given word is prefer, I will need the word to. So I'll write it down. I'll usually write down this word first to remind myself. Next, I will observe which is the most desired activity, which is number one. You want to complete the project compared to watching the movie. Then I will write down my answer. Chong Li prefers to complete his project. Sorry, there isn't a to here. Prefers completing his project. So when you have this word prefers already, it needs to be in the continuous form. Project to watching the movie. Next, if you have the word unless here, it tells you that there needs to be a criteria. So if we observe this sentence, the criteria is here. You look carefully at the object. This is a criteria. Then the outcome is you can find the tear. So when you have the word unless here, you will need to have the outcome at the end. Sorry, you need to have the criteria at the end. So unless you look carefully at the object. So the start will be you will not find the tear. So every time when you have a word unless, the front part, the outcome, needs to be of the negative connotation. Now, there'll be some funny students that will ask me, can you say you will find the tear unless you do not look carefully at the object? Well, I think both are accepted because the meaning that is being conveyed is the same, right? But I think the important thing is you don't confuse yourself. So when you encounter such questions, the standard operating procedure, your SOP, will always be will not. If you can standardize this and when you write your answer you are confident, then I think this will be something that is very good. Okay, come, let's take a look at question 68 now. Did you lend Tom your book yesterday? The teacher asked Sam. So we are interested in a reporter speech here. So how do we go about it? We need to highlight the words that we need to change, edit, then you write our answer. Why go through these 3 steps? Because we want to prevent careless mistakes. Okay, so looking at our question, the first one is here. Lend will be had lent. Tom, he spoke the previous day. Okay, next thing is you observe did here is in past tense. That's why when I change lent, it needs to change to had lent, because this whole sentence here is in past tense now. So I need to move one time period backwards to become a participle form, which is the had something. Okay, so it will be the teacher asked Sam if he had lent Tom his book the previous day. You want to be interesting, you also can say the day before. Right? Now moving on, question 69. Paul did not agree with any of his friends' suggestion. So you see here, did not agree. Agree here is a verb, it's an action word. But now we are changing it to a noun. So you can say Paul was in disagreement with any of his friends' suggestion. Or you could say Paul was not in agreement. 2. Just take note, the preposition will change. Of his friends' suggestions. Okay? Lastly, let's take a look at question 70 now. The boys participated in the quiz activity. The parents were delighted. So this one, okay, first thing is they are trying to link the parents' delight to the boys' participation. Okay, so what delighted the parents, you need to change it to, was the boys' participation. In the quiz activity. All right. Okay, with that, we've come to the end of our this morning's TikTok session. So it's great seeing everybody again. I'm teacher Nathan, and if you have friends who are taking O levels or in secondary school, do join me at 12:10 or 12:05, where we will be looking at some O level paper, and we can I will teach you some tips and tricks to improve your comprehension skills in secondary school. And for our primary school friends, if you have some time this afternoon, do join me at 2:30, and we'll look at Nanyang Primary School Prelim paper from 2023. Okay, till then, I'll see you guys around. Bye bye.